Okay, match 4 with mono red goblins. We are on the draw. We have 3 creatures, 3 lands, and a bolt. And this looks very good. Turn 1 Foundry Street, turn 2 creatures, attack for 3. Turn after I can activate Initiate by lightning bolting something. Court Homunculus with basic planes. Interesting. This could be a normal affinity deck that just also plays Court Homunculus, but then I would not expect to see basic planes. So I expect this is a mono white affinity deck. Cohort or Denizen first with this specific build. Let's see. Assuming they get an artifact and this becomes a 2/2, I'd rather trade off the Cohort, so I'll do that. And assuming it doesn't get an artifact, I'd rather attack in with the Cohort, so I think Cohort is better either way. Darksteel Citadel to pump up Homunculus. This probably has equipment in it as well. If this is indeed a mono white deck, there's a couple of different mono white cards that care about equipment, and equipments are also artifacts, so kill 2 birds with 1 stone. To block or not to block? Next turn I can go Foundry Street plus Initiate, followed by Sledder, make something not able to block plus Lightning Bolt. I think I should go ahead and block. This appears to be a very aggressive deck. They've got 6 power on the table turn 2. While I would like to race them, I do not want to just let them do as much damage as they want, so. Goblin Matron, fine draw. I'm going to also Lightning Bolt as early as this turn, but I don't want to do that just yet. Wait and see if they want to spend some mana equipping something, maybe. Use a removal next turn. It's Core Skyfisher, okay. Probably to replay a land. Bastion for 2. I do not want to trade in 2 creatures for 1 here, so I will not double block. Fire Blast. It's a fine draw, not a great draw. I'd like to Lightning Bolt this, and then I might as well cast Goblin Slaughter, since it's the only other thing I can do. I'd rather fake that I have a removal spell open than pay to force a tapped creature to not be able to block, since they probably cannot untap it at instant speed. Bash for 2. Losing this damage race right now, that's for sure. Fire Blast can help steal a win out of nowhere, as can Goblin Matron into Bushwhacker. Ardent Recruit, okay. I've got a 1-mana 3/3 here. Court Homunculus is itself a artifact creature. And we have Auriok Sunchaser, 2-mana 3/3 flyer. So we'd very much like to get rid of this Frogmite to turn off Metalcraft. But then if they just get 1 more artifact, they have it back on again. We could also get rid of Core Homunculus instead. Alright, what to do? So if I can turn off Metalcraft to instant speed with the Fire Blast, it'd be very costly to get rid of 2 mountains. So if I'm going to do that, I would like to play Matron first, most likely. So I could play Matron, I could attack with everything. They would do their blocks. I would shoot one of these creatures, turning off Metalcraft and turning this into a 2/2 and this into a 1/1 and this into a 1/1. I think it'd be fairly hard to get 2 blown out by that. Let's see what I'm going to go search for with Goblin Matron. I could also just go get a Goblin Bushwhacker, attack not at all, Then next turn I can play Cohort, play Bushwhacker, and that would be 6 different creatures attacking for 2 damage, so it's 12 damage. Cohort would attack for 3. What else can I go get? I can go get a Tarfire just because removal is nice here. Sparksmith is too expensive and too slow right now. What else? I think I'm going to go with Tarfire, under the assumption that I'm going to have to cast Fire Blast this turn. They're down to 1 card in hand, so can I wait on Fire Blast? Try to do it on their turn instead, and make my big move next time? Yeah, I think I can do that. It would be so nice to be able to cast multiple spells next turn. I could attack all out there, Fire Blast something, do that plan I was talking about, but I think I would lose too many of my creatures. I'd lose almost all my attackers, if not all my attackers still. And while I could get rid of maybe all their creatures in the process, it wouldn't be fun. Alright, they're attacking all out here for 10. They might have an instant speed pump spell since they are a deck that kind of goes wide. I don't want to lose to that. But I can always Fire Blast if I really have to. I could just do 1 chump worth, a 1/1 onto a 3/3. If I had a Bushwhacker, if I drew that off the top, I'd have them dead on board. But that's not what I went and got with the Goblin Matron, so... I think I'll just save my creatures. And plan on Fire Blasting if they have a pump spell. Okay, fall to 6. Core Skyfisher. Picking up a land again, most likely. Yep. Glinthawk, okay. They have to return an artifact to their hand now. Turning off Metalcraft. They go with the Court Homunculus, replay it, okay. 0 cards in hand. Total of 3 artifacts. 1, 2, 3. So a single Tarfire turns off their Metalcraft. And what can I do here? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of Court Homunculus. Turn off their Metalcraft. Next thing I'm going to do is probably pay for not letting the Core Skyfisher block. And then next turn I have 4 damage I have to take in the air, assuming this Glinthawk doesn't block. Which means I need to block... Let's assume they don't have Metalcraft by playing another artifact next turn. I need to block and not take 2 more damage. So I have to block Frogmite and 1 of these creatures, which means I need to leave 2 things back. Or I just need to Fire Blast this Core Skyfisher when it goes to attack. Or potentially the Frogmite. More likely since it's an artifact and it prevents Metalcraft from coming online. Goblin Cohort is a good blocker. Go ahead and cast that since it triggers my Foundry Street Denizen. I can actually afford to pay once more here. Okay. Attack like this, and then plan on going block, block, and then Fire Blasting it if necessary. I think that works fine. And most likely Fire Blasting is going to be necessary. Alright, there's another artifact. And they're not even attacking all out. Okay, so I have to make this stop flying so that I can block it. Question is whether I turn off Metalcraft by hitting the Frogmite or I just hit one of these creatures themselves. Alright, here goes the Frogmite. Put those in the specific order. Not going to pay. Ambush this. fall down to 2. So I'm dead in the air next turn. Alright. Well, I drew Goblin Bushwhacker. Don't have the mana to pay for that, unfortunately. And I'm pretty sure if my opponent blocks even once, they can stop me from having lethal here. Especially if they block twice, so... Alright, they decide to block twice. If I sacrifice and sacrifice, I'll only do a total of 10 damage, so... So much for that. And we have lost the first game. Got them down to 5. Alright, so... Let's see how we sideboard against this deck. Unfortunately, Gorilla Shaman is not great against a artifact deck when their only artifact land is indestructible, so I don't think I'm bringing that in. Electricity doesn't really do anything, except for when their creatures are turned off. Pyroblast doesn't do anything, neither does Raise. Which means my options are Smash and Sylvok Lifestaff. This is a little bit of a race. Sylvok Lifestaff would be nice. Even if I can't trade in combat due to them having flying, I can always sacrifice my creatures that are equipped to make sure I gain that 3 life. So I believe I do want the Lifestaff. Alright, so I'm going to bring in Lifestaff, Smithereens. They don't have enough 1 toughness things, so I'm going to take out Death Spark. It can hit some things, but like Core Homunculus before it's turned on and so on, but I don't think it's good enough since they could just have Metalcraft. Bring in the Smash, the Sylvok. I have 2 more cuts to make. I want to be a little bit faster, so I'm going to cut a Matron and a Sparksmith. I might not be able to afford the Alive here or the time to cast things here, so all these cards are very good. I'd rather just have the lower drops, and we'll try this. Alright, get to be on the play for game 2. And this hand is kind of bad, but I'm going to keep anyway. As long as we don't draw a bunch of lands, we should be okay. Conscripted to Sparksmith is a pretty good start, since I can take out a lot of their things, except for their 3 toughness things, and then the Lightning Bolt will take care of the 3 toughness things, so they need to have a Journey to Nowhere or something for my Sparksmith pretty quickly. Circle Protection Red is also something that could definitely be in a mono white sideboard, so I need to win somewhat fast before that comes down, if possible. Ancient Den. Well, I didn't see any of those last time, but I should have guessed that they were in the deck. It does make Gorilla Shaman better. I'm not sure if it's good enough when it's only 4 of their lands in their entire land base. It would certainly be nice right now, though. Alright, Sparksmith first before War Marshal, so I can start getting the removal down. And they already have Metalcraft turn 2, thanks to the Thraben also making a clue. But I'm going to have 4 Goblins for this Sparksmith, so I can take out basically whatever they want. Free Frogmite after the Bone Splitter's cast. Glinthawk needs to return something, probably a land. No, it returns Frogmite because Frogmite's free. Yeah, that makes more sense. Alright. This is going to cost us some serious life, but we're going to do this anyway. We can shoot down their other creatures with Lightning Bolt. So instead of them being able to race us by us taking damage from the Sparksmith, and then them hitting back with the big creatures with Bone Splitter, we'll instead get to Lightning Bolt whatever they hit with Bone Splitter, and hopefully stop the damage well enough to be able to use the Sparksmith. Happy to trade this off to reduce the Sparksmith count, and I think our opponent wants to attack anyway. Core Skyfisher. Picking up Frogmite and returning it. Down to 2 cards. And they attack with just a 1/2. So I think I'm happy to trade this for a Goblin token. So let's do that. And now I could untap, not pay Echo, have 3, and shoot the core Skyfisher. However, with the Bone Splitter being able to provide so much damage, and just the fact that they know we have the Sparksmith and they played the way they did, means they might have a way to race us or punish us for taking too much damage from the Sparksmith, even though they're mono white. So instead of hitting them in the face, I am going to spend 1 Lightning Bolt on core Skyfisher. I think this is correct. And then I could hit the Frogmite instead with the Sparksmith. I don't think I'm going to pay Echo here, because I might need a Lightning Bolt this turn. And so while this is dead, and this trigger is on the stack, I'm going to kill the Frogmite, so I only take 2 damage. That's another reason I didn't want to pay the Echo, since I could do that trick. Another Conscript lets my other one attack this turn. Alright, our opponent does have a clue they can crack to get up to more cards in hand to find more action. But we have board presence and an active Sparksmith, so I'm feeling pretty good. Alright, do I want to take 4 or do I want to bolt that as well? I think I want to bolt that as well. Every time I use a Lightning Bolt on a creature instead of Sparksmith, it means I can use the Sparksmith better later for later creatures, even bigger ones. So I think it's worth it to waste my removal that could have been going to the face. Alright, and they concede. We were going to attack for 6 that turn if we hit a creature, which we wouldn't have. We would attack for 2 that turn, Tarfired the face, maybe hit something with Sparksmith, maybe held this back instead of attacked with it. We had a lot of options. Our opponent might not have had enough, so they conceded. So now that I know that they have Ancient Den, even though I should have known that before, does that mean I want to bring in Gorilla Shaman to try to hit those? It's just a 1-mana 1/1 if they don't. Intimidator or Initiate is also just a 1-mana 1/1, but the not blocking ability could be better. I think they can operate on few enough lands that I shouldn't bring in Shaman. Even if I do hit it, if it's like their 2nd or 3rd land, it might not even matter that much since their deck is so cheap as well. So, because they only have 4 Ancient Den, I'm not going to bring in the Shaman. I'd rather have more impactful cards. Alright, we have a sideboarded Lifestaff, and we have a decent curve, so we're going to keep. Just this mediocre random creatures with no removal gets a lot better on we have Lifestaff. Turn 1 Glinthawk, returning Ancient Den. Okay. That is acceptable. Turn 2 we go Cohort Sledder. Turn 3 we go Raider, Lifestaff, Equip. Even if we don't try anything else, which we probably will. And they just keep on bouncing their lands to hand so they can form a presence in the air. I'm going to play this Goblin Sledder before attacking. Make them think twice about blocking. I don't really want the creatures trading off yet. I'd rather them start trading off after the Sylvok Lifestaff comes down. So do I want to trade this for that? I have plenty of creatures in hand, so I most likely will be able to continue attacking. However, having the Goblin Sledder around is very nice when I have Lifestaff. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and not use this as a +1/+1 effect. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I thought about it a little bit longer, and I lied. I'm going to save this. I have enough creatures in hand. I can go get another creature with Goblin Matron that I should be able to keep these attacking for a very long time. And they should trade it in combat naturally enough. I don't need this sacrifice Goblin to make the Lifestaff good. I think it was correct to save it there. Glinthawk comes down. A 3rd Glinthawk, returning Ancient Den yet again. There are 6 cards in hand. Alright, Goblin Matron time, I think. Or I could just do Mog Raider's Lifestaff. But they can just block whichever one doesn't have... Yeah, I'm going to do Goblin Matron first, go get myself a Tarfire for one of these Glinthawks. Bushwhacker is also a very good card, but I can get that with the 2nd Matron. I don't need it just yet. Next turn I can either go Raider, Tarfire, Lifestaff, or Raider, Lifestaff, Equip. I have a lot of options. I need to cast a creature though to keep the conscripts and the cohort attacking. They go land into Flayer Husk, which is a nice chump blocker for them. Or maybe not a shot blocker if they get to block the 1/1. And we are going to Life Staff. And we're going to equip up our Goblin Matron. And we're going to play a creature so we can attack this turn. Now we really want to hit a land so that we can play Goblin Matron and a spell next turn. So we can both attack and remove a creature. And we also have Mog Raider, so if I really want to, I can sacrifice this Goblin in order to gain my 3 life. Okay, take my 4. If they attacked with a germ, I probably would have blocked with Raider, sacrificed Goblin Matron to go up to a 2/2. Another germ token. Frogmite. Initiate. Okay, so that's good just because it lets me attack with the conscript. So let's go boom. And then we're going to Tarfire you. Nope. And then we're going to attack. We can Lightning Bolt a double blocker, or we can try to save a Lightning Bolt for the face or Glinthawk potentially. Dead on board if they don't block. Not dead on board, but dead to a Lightning Bolt if they don't block. Alright, they're very intelligently going to make me make the first move, so I will sacrifice this Goblin. Cancel. Watch out. Sacrifice. Target this. Sacrifice that. Okay. Gain my 3. It lets me deal less damage this turn. And in fact, did I just mess up? Yeah, I think I just messed up. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I could have had lethal. I can't still have lethal, can I? No, I can't. Yeah, I had lethal that just now and I messed it up. Oh well. Oh my goodness. They're casting a spell. 3 mana, but it has affinity for artifacts, so they cast it for 0. Flash. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn, so they're going to get to trade with this. Or try to, at least. That's hilarious. Of all the cards I was expecting, I was not expecting Tooth of Chiskoria to be cast for no mana. So I can sacrifice Intimidator Initiate as well, to keep this around if I like. I think it's pretty important, so yeah, I'll do that. I did it again. Sacrifice. Target this. Sacrifice that. You have to know how to do this in Magic Online or you will lose games because of it, unfortunately. So now I can either bolt a Glinthawk or I can equip so that I can gain 3 life, and I'd rather hold up and bolt. They can attack me for 6 this turn with the Tooth, 7 if they equip, not counting what's in their hand. I can take 4 here. I don't need a bolt yet. I'd rather bolt a blocker or their face. I do apologize for missing lethal. I should not have done that. Okay, so now I'm not going to be able to force my Sylvok Lifestaff to gain me life anymore, which is pretty bad for me. I'm going to bolt the face to deal 3. Force the block of this germ token next turn. Although they do have the Tooth up, so I need to keep that in mind. Mog War Marshal is a good draw. Whenever I put the Lifestaff on, they're forced to block. Which means they can't actually use the Tooth to trade, because then I'll gain the life. So yeah, this is the lethal attacker. They're not going to Tooth because they don't want this to die, most likely. Yep. Alright, nothing else I can do here. And now I just have to hope they don't have 3 instant speed damage. But they did in fact have the untapped land, which meant they go Flayer Husk equip, Tooth activate, and I think I die here, don't I? Wow. Well, I wasn't counting both the equips of the Flayer Husk when I thought they could crack back. But they did have the untapped land for it, so they managed to outrace us. We got them down to 1 life after getting them dead on board. And they win the match because of it. Okay, well, that was 100% a misplay on my part. I definitely play worse whenever I'm recording than when I'm not recording, because I'm not paying attention to as many things. I could have sacrificed my unblocked creatures that turn, bolted the face, and been able to do the other 7 damage through combat fairly easily. So that's a lesson of what not to do. Don't get stuck on one line of play that's good and ignore a line of play that's great. So this definitely should have been a win. Should have been able to beat mono white equipment with their crazy Tooth of Chisgoria, but I did misplay, so our opponent took it down, and we were on to the last match.